So the first thing that we're going to talk about with direct and inverse variation is what these things mean. So direct variation means that things change both increasing or both decreasing at the same time. So, for example, the more hours you work, the more you get paid. For inverse variation, as one of the categories goes up, the other goes down. So the more you drive, the less gas you have in the tank. So if you're looking here, direct, they're both more. The more you do something, the more something else happens. Here, you have more and less. So you have alternating here. So when you're looking at a graph, direct, it goes through 0, 0, and it's a straight line. For inverse, it represents that like increasing, decreasing. So like if one category is high, the other one's low, right? So this category is high, this one's low, and then vice versa. It kind of curves in the middle like this. Sometimes you'll see it on both sides, and that's okay. But the point is that it does not go through 0, 0. It specifically curves away from that point, where direct has to go through that point, and you can see as one gets bigger, the other gets bigger. Those categories are changing together. So when we're looking at the equations for this, when you rearrange them, they should end up in these type forms. So if y is by itself, you should have your x times a number for direct. And if for inverse, if y is by itself, your number should be over x. Or if you want them to kind of be on the same level, x and y need to be on the same side equal to a number. Either of those is fine. This is arguably the standard form, but you'll see this one just as much. So if we're talking about rearranging to get into that form and to check and see if it fits into direct. So if we have 3x plus 4y equals 0, and we were trying to see if this is direct, inverse, or neither, then we would need to minus 3x on both sides. We don't need to keep the plus 0 here because the 0 and 3x just gives you negative 3x. Divide by 4. And that would be enough. All right. If we were testing out something more like this, though, similar format to what we just saw, when we move our 5x over, 2y equals negative 5x plus 10, and we divide by 2. We have a nice linear equation, but for this linear equation, we shouldn't have anything at the end. So this one's direct. This is neither. Okay. And again, if we're looking for something that's inverse, and we had this form, be like 15 15xy equals 30. I would divide the 15 to get my numbers together. This in and of itself would be enough to show that you have an inverse function. But if you wanted to get it in this form, you would need to divide x on both sides. And this would be an inverse.